Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here with Kristopher Do with a Fidelity title. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, I am awesome. Hey, thanks again for taking the time here and speaking with me. We're both from Orange County. We know kind of this. We know the same people. But we haven't spent a lot of time with each other. But when I saw your story up on the Facebook group that we're in, I said, "Oh man, this guy's got an awesome background. He's he started differently from where he is now. So I wanted to learn more about from your beginnings, the challenges that you got through, and then how you got to where you are today, and how you keep that engine running. So first off, tell me a little bit about yourself and your background.
All right. Cool. 37 years of age, 3 kids, married once. Sound like it. Been in my career for about 19 years. Worked for 8 title companies where I'm at now, till leading up to where I'm at now. And number one in my company, number 11 or number 10 in the all Southern California with the 4 companies we own. We own 4 other title companies such as Loris Title, Chicago Title, Tycor Title, and obviously I'm from Fidelity Titles. Those 4 title companies, top 10 in the whole Southern California. That's a big numbers you gotta do to get there. Been a president club for quite many times, many years. Um, it's a true hustle. Also, I do a lot of other type of investments as well, and did really well in that.
Yeah.
Go into that another day, but yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about growing up and some of the things you went through, and some of the challenges that you faced back then.
So one of the biggest challenges I was going through is having an insecurity and having. It's funny, people think, "What, you insecure? How is that possible? You're like always out there and you're not shy." And the truth is, I was bullied when I was growing up, and I went to school prominently all Caucasian, and that time Asian people were not really welcome too much. It was coming in the early '90s, and people were just not too friendly at that time. I remember, and I was growing up, and I during that time I was so quiet because I was so shy. My English wasn't too good, even though I was born in America. But my I had a lot of people that took care of me. Like growing up, I had nannies that they speak different languages, so it kind of really got me messed up on a different to know English that well. But anyways, growing up, so then from there I just stayed really quiet, and then from that teachers thought that I was kind of slow or something, and then they kind of put me into ESL classes to, uh, you know, uh, you know, things that kind of helped me improve my self-esteem. That helped me, but I think the mainly thing is when I got out of school. So that school, that environment was is a good school. Actually, it was one of the top schools in Buena Park. To look back at it, and I remember my mom and dad split up, and when they split up, my mom sold a house, and when my mom sold a house, she moved to a city called Fountain Valley, where we're in now. And Fountain Valley is a very mixed, but it's a good ratio of 50-50 Asians, and everything else. And with that saying, so I became pretty popular because I was, wearing clothes like to fit in, and I was like, people were just like recognizing, oh, this is a new kid in the school, and I from nothing to a hero, or a well-known, a popular kid. So from that, I realized I started not being shy no more. I started talking to people more and started acting out to a point where I got to more not something to be proud of, but something I started acting and not understand how to act, and I started acting like more cocky and out there and stuff like that. And but from that, I was able to just kind of keep that ego going, and when I kept that ego going, it just kind of transcended to who I am today. So from there, I was hanging out the wrong crowd too as well, because being popular, people want to hang out with certain people, and during that time, gangs were very popular, and so I was hanging out with certain gangs and things like that. And then what happened was I got in a lot of trouble. My friends were getting a lot of trouble. My mom couldn't handle me. She said, "You know what? You have to, live with your dad." And my dad was at that time was living in Vietnam, pretty much. He basically moved back home just to raise me up. So he moved back home. I moved to Los Angeles with him in a city called Montebello. From Montebello, I didn't have any friends there because it was mainly Hispanic. And from that, I was hanging out mostly like the smaller group of Asian people. in that school, the Asian groups were more like smart kids. They're like super smart. They're, you know, good grades and all that. So from there, I started hanging out with them, transcending myself from a 2.0 GPA to jumping up to 3.5, 4.0. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm way too, when I started doing good grades, I started realizing, why am I in high school? I don't want to be in high school. I want to be in college. I want to do work. And I felt like the reason why I was had that motivation is because going back to first grade, I was flunked first grade, where I got held back first grade. And actually I didn't get flunked. I got held back first grade because the teacher thought I was slow. And when I held back, that kind of motivated me to that day in high school to graduate high school in 3 years. So I worked my butt off. I took my classes. I took ROP classes after school because I was a year behind. I was older than most kids. I was able to go to East LA College, take a psychology class there. I got a B in there through my senior year. Basically, I got enough credits to graduate high school in 3 years. And I graduated high school. I walked as a junior. I walked, and then walked with the seniors. And when I graduated, I went to my dad and I go, Dad, hey, I'm gonna move to Orange County. I have everything planned out. I actually moved down to my buddy house, John, and pretty much my dad said, hey, you know, I don't think you should move out because you know ruin life. You don't know what you're doing yet. I go, no, Dad, I'll get a job. I got accepted to UCLA. I got accepted to UCI and Cal State Fullerton. I'll just go Cal State Fullerton because it's cheaper. I'll get financial aid because you know your income that time, but that income at that time wasn't so good. So I qualified for financial aid. I got went to Cal State Fullerton, and I dropped out. I dropped out the first 2 weeks because I was working full time and taking classes at night, and I was just sleepy. I was just sleeping in class. I remember waking up, the textbook be all drooled. It's like it was sad. It's funny. I mean, it was fun time, but I couldn't keep up to it. And what happens when you don't go to school for financial aid and you don't drop the class in time? Guess what? You owe that money now. So I came out financial aid with like a $7,000 debt. I'm like, what the heck? 18 years old. No way. $7,000. Back then, there's a lot of money because you're like 18. You're like, what? Just like debt like that.
Yeah.
And from there, I went to work at Fry's Electronics, and that was one of the best jobs I ever had because I was like a top sales guy. I was good at talking to people and selling. That time, my dad was before I moved down to moved out of my dad's house. My dad was he couldn't really get a job at the time. He was a gardener, you know, those gardeners, and it was sweat jobs and all that. And it was really tough for him, but you know, I admire that because he stuck it out. He stuck it out to help raise me, and so, from something he had in Vietnam, coming back here, starting blue collar work. It was really tough for him. But anyways, from there, I moved out. That's when my dad got the job in title. So when I moved out in 2000, my dad got a job in title, and then he saw me at Fry's Electronics, came to visit me. He saw me doing really well in sales. He said, "Hey, Kris, he used to just come and visit me and just check me out, just see how I handle customers and stuff. It's just as a father and son, it's good." But I was a top sales there. I was selling about $1,300 worth of warranties a month. I'm sorry, $1,300 worth of warranties per week. And what's crazy, 90% of that warranty sold is on the phone.
Wow.
Tell the customer, I sold it on the phone all day long. Yeah. So I was money making that time. But that time I was partying a lot at the raves. I don't know if you guys know. Back in 2000, raves were very popular, so I was raving. Right. So I was coming to work like at 6. So I'll get home from 6 in the morning and go to work at 8 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Like, drunk and tired, whatever it is, and still hammering the phone. Still was able to close the sales and all that. But what happened was at Fry's, I was late, and I was late very often because now things like that. And 18, 19, 20, when you're young, you're like, yeah, the world's the world's to you. You can do whatever you want to do, and going out a lot. But anyways, I got fired from Fry's. That really devastated me because I love that job so much that I was going there on the weekdays or days I'm off, just helping customers for the heck of it. Wow. I was just hanging out there. I was paying my paychecks in Fry's every day. But anyways, for Fry's, I went to do some odd jobs. I went to work at Staples. I worked at a cyber cafe place at nighttime. I worked at an insurance company selling insurance or trying to get into my license to sell insurance for cars, fire and casualty cars, basically cars and houses. I got into, so that time I was bouncing around so much. My dad said, hey, let me help you get a job here. My cousin Julian got me a job doing loan processing. He was a broker, so I sat there, more like paper stacking, understanding the business, ordering payoff demands, calling escrow, calling title, and trying to get the fundamental and get understandings.
Mhm.
2 months, I did that for pro bono. I didn't get paid for it because I haven't closed any files to get paid, to be honest with you. So I felt like, hey, I know enough to kind of maybe get a job somewhere else that will pay me at least a hourly. So I went and got a job through a temp agency and got a job at Wells Fargo. The minute I got a job there, they fired me or let me go within a week because honestly, I didn't know enough.
Oh.
And they felt like maybe I didn't know enough. But really, I think what it was is because I didn't know enough. Guess what I did? I wasn't shy to ask for help. So I was bugging them. Hey, what do I do with this again? What do I do with that again? Because asking so much, they realized I didn't know much, and then they say, hey, this guy, doesn't know, so let me go. But I went to get a job after that. The same temp agency got me a job at Washington Mutual. Worked there for 6 months, and then they also laid me off because I was talking too much. I've always been a guy that talks a lot. So I went to one cubicle to another cubicle and just kind of chat away. I still worked, but I just chat away to kind of get some more like intel, understand the industry a little bit more, so better me, right?
Yeah.
Literally got let go there. I was pretty bummed out, and then my cousin was working at Southland Title. Was an escrow manager there, and she actually got me a job doing escrow for a week. And doing escrow is a great industry, but it's not for me. I asked her, hey, can you put me somewhere else because I cannot do this. What happened was I got a phone call from an agent, and some realtors are really cool and some realtors are assholes. I saw you that. I'm sorry. Can I say that? I don't know.
This is not real radio, so you can say whatever you want.
All right, okay, cool. You're like, hey, I need this down, blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, like, chill out. Like, you don't have to be so demanding, but I realized there were like just, pressures there. They're, you're dealing with certain type of people. You don't deal with all the, not everybody's like you,
Right.
So I realized I can't deal with that pressure, like I don't know what I'm doing and I'm getting yelled at, So I say, hey, I want to do a different job. They put me into doing payoff in the title company. So I was working inside of a title company doing payoff. And payoff, what they do is calculate, making sure they pay off the existing lender before transfer, issuing a new lender onto the title or new owner onto the title and paying off the existing loan of the previous seller. Yeah. So I was doing the paper calculating on that. And sometimes we're making mistakes where we send too little money to the bank and guess what? The bank didn't get paid off. And guess what? Who eats the loss? The title company does. So that's a risk that the title company takes. And I remember from there, I had to call the banks and try to, settle those balances out because what banks are very smart. They'll get payment, but they'll send a letter out 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, say, hey, we're short. After the deal closed already.
Yeah.
And every day per diem could be $100, could be $200 per month per day. So you're talking about $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, bill that you said, wait a minute, and this is still accrued. So we have to take short on our end to make those losses and make those payments. But before that, I will call out and try to find ways to find a niche or not a niche, a way where the bank's fault. The bank's fault that I made a mistake. We sent everything on time. You guys didn't calculate. We got to pay off the man, everything like this. And I was a pretty good. It was like a lawyer, right, or like a paralegal. You say, doing enough research. I was knowing 80% of them where I got the banks to pay or reduce amount or sell out a lower dollar amount.
Wow.
So I was negotiating on behalf of the title company to save money.
Okay.
I was good at that. I was good at arguing on the phone and all that stuff. From there, I was doing really well. The market shifted in 2002. Where the refi market shifted, so I got laid off. I was just a second tier laid off. So the first tier got laid off, and the second wave I got laid off. I got severance pay on that. So I was pretty bummed out. And then my dad's like, hey, son, I always thought that you could be a great sales guy, and I don't think you should do any other job except sales. I mean, you're good at that. I said, okay, good, Dad. What do you have in mind? So, well, I think you should title like me. I go, really? Give me a job. So I don't know about that because you got a track record of getting fired. If I give you a job, I might get fired with you. I don't think that's a good idea. But what you should do is contact the title companies and say, hey, I'm going to be a good sales rep. I'm going to, do a good job for them and just ask for the job. So I took that time my dad's giving me the yellow pages and I told my dad, everything's the internet now. So I use yahoo.com. Use yahoo.com, type in all the title companies, call every single title companies and ask for a job. And title is not an easy job. It's not made for everybody. I'm telling you this. You gotta go. You gotta have very thick skin, and you gotta do a lot of BS. And sometimes it's not worth it, for especially for anyone. For me, it's worth it for me because it's all I got, and I'm good at it. I'm willing to stick it through. And from there, I called all the title companies up, and I remember everybody's that time was 2002. No one was hiring. Like, hey, no, I can't hire you. Know, and it was like 6 months ago. Yeah, I would. But one small little title company, like small one, no longer around no more. They actually got bellied up. The market crashed and they got bankrupt. But a company called Gateway Title, I said, hey, you know what, son? I don't know why I should hire you because one, you don't have no clients because the thing is you have to have clients. Two, you don't have no experience. And three, like, what I can hire you? I go, I will have experience because my dad will teach me everything. Oh, who's your dad? My dad's a title guy from Old Republic Title. Well, why don't he come over here and I hire you, him, and then you guys do like a father-son team? Oh, good idea. Let me go ask my dad. Call my dad up. My dad said straight up to, I said, Dad, guess what? This guy wants to hire you, both of us. We'll work together. I'll have a job and we'll do this. My dad laughs. He's like, no, that company is too small, and number two, they cannot afford me. To be honest with you, I mean, the book of business I do. And I was like, what? You're supposed to help me. Like, well, and that's the thing. What's the key thing is a lot of kids I realized growing up is they always expect their parents to help.
Mm.
And I'm glad that my dad didn't help me in that way because it really made me a man today, right?
Right.
So
right.
there's like, no, son, why don't I just talk to, why don't you guys talk? And I got my dad and him to talk to each other. And basically my dad sold him to give me a job.
Mm-hmm.
And basically how the way he sold him is this. He said, hey, Frank, how long have you been in business? I've been in business 7 years. Well, you're a sales manager. How long ago? I've been a sales manager for 2 years. So that means in 5 years you've been a rep. And then after that, you got promoted to a sales manager. That's pretty impressive. However, if you hire my son, he could do that half the time. So that's like, and the guy just sat there and like, what the heck? So laughing and stuff like that. And I kind of felt like, whoa, like, Dad, you're pushing a little too hard here. But it was funny because they just laugh about it. They it's like how like this industry works. They just like, that's how people talk. So anyways, I came and met with him for the interview, and Frank gave me a stack of business cards and say, son, go out there, talk to a couple of people, see how many orders you get, how many deals you get. And I did. I went out there, and that time my car's not working that well. So I had a Integra stick shift with a broken clutch. No, clutch is working. Broken starter. I don't know if you guys know, but having a stick shift car with a broken starter, that means you got push start everywhere you go. The minute you chop the engine, you turn it back on, you got push start. Have you ever push start a car, Dan?
I never had a stick, but
so imagine putting the first gear, putting it down, putting the first gear, and then pushing it, and then popping it to, popping the clutch off.
Yeah.
So I had to do that. So everywhere I went, so I went to office to office. Imagine going to about 20, 30, 40 offices, push starting everywhere I go. I was so good at push starting, I was pushing start reverse. Put in reverse and push start to reverse. Seriously. People felt so bad for me. Like random people like came out and started pushing the car to help me out and stuff like that. But it's funny. I remember doing that. I remember one client saw me doing that. Like, wow, damn, this guy like, and she felt bad too because she said, I'm sorry, I can't help you, Kris, because I have a title person I'm working with for years, and if I give you a deal, I haven't got enough deals to give her. She's been so helpful. I owe her a lot, and I respect that. So I kind of left, and then when I left, she saw me push. So the second time I came around, she saw me and said, hey, you know what? I saw you what you had to do that day in the car, and I want to help you. So she gave me the first order from that business. But going back to things, so I came out, got orders from people, and then came back to Frank and go, hey, Frank, here's 20 open orders in 2 days. Give me the job. I would do it. Pays me the lowest salary I could get, which is fine. Started the job. First month, I brought in 35 transactions. 6 months, I was number 5 in Orange County. 2 years, I was like number 1 in Southern California, top 3 in Southern California, for that company. So that really kind of got me the opportunity to go do that. And then what's crazy, I remember what Frank said to my dad before I hired me. He's like, hey, Mike, I don't know if I want to hire your son because, he seemed like he could do good, but here's the problem. I hired him, you're going to take him away, which is true. 2 years later, I left and I went to my dad's company. But my dad said, no, 2 years, he'll stay with you for 2 years, and then he'll go if you guys can't keep him. And eventually, the company found out about me and recruited, and I left that company to join my dad. And so a lot of people always think that, I started this industry because my dad, instead he did for giving me the way to go, but not giving me a handout. So a lot of people, they go, oh, he started this business with my dad because he worked with my dad. No, I was my dad's competitor. I was competing against my dad for the first 2 years. So my dad was talking to clients that doesn't want to talk to older generation, want to talk to someone younger. Someone that felt like I wasn't experienced enough, I brought my dad in there. Like, my dad, you got to talk to this client. So we kind of worked that angle. And then eventually we joined forces. And then from there, everything's history, and went from there. So that's how I transcended to my industry. Now, here's the how the effect of bullying happened at a younger age.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was getting bullied by Caucasians, I kind of felt like, maybe I wasn't good enough, you know. So I would never go after going to other areas. I was working in Little Saigon. Little Saigon's from a lot of Vietnamese there, right? A lot of realtors and Vietnamese. So I had enough business for myself. But I would not go into like the Hispanic market. I would not go into the Huntington Beach, that market, or anything outside my area for the first 15 years, literally 15 years. And then I said to myself, I outgrown my area, but I said to myself that I need to get out more, but I never had the opportunity to do that until I met my wife and Pauline. She said, Kris, you have so much knowledge. Everything you support your agents is good, but you have other things that you should be able to get out there and do more. And I was scared to do that because I remember when I started in the title business, I remember I was emailing random people, and I emailed this one guy an email, and my grammar is not very good to this day still. So my emails are really bad when I write email. But when I wrote this email, that guy said to me, Kris, to say, hey, Kris, you write like a high school level. You should not be in this business, or at least, or yet alone, email people this because it just makes you look bad. This and that. That really hurt my feelings. I mean, it really hurt me. But from that, transcended me and say, you know what, I got to go back to school. So remember, I dropped out of college. I said, you know what, I got to go back to school. So I tried to get to Cal State, Orange Coast. No, I tried to go to Cal State, Florida. Couldn't do that because of the grades dropping out. So when you drop out like that, you can't go back in, basically. So I tried to go back to OCC or go to West College. And the problem with that is that they only have enough room for new students. That I'm like older, like someone myself, like later now in the years, 10 years later. Yeah. So I elected to go to University of Phoenix. Mm-hmm. University of Phoenix is great for someone that really has a career and just want to get their degree. It's a good step to get the degree, to get the master's somewhere else. I highly recommend University of Phoenix for that, for working people. So anyways, I got my degree, did that, and I finally got my bachelor, and that was a big accomplishment for me because it took me about 3 years to do that, but it's good. I always want to go back, but now I have kids. I kind of thought about, maybe I have to be there for my kids more. But yeah, you went to school how many years yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, just college and law school, that's 7 years right there.
There you go, 7 years.
Yeah, and like you, hey, I actually grew up in Fountain Valley too. My parents probably one of the first Vietnamese families on the block. Oh, in the 80s. Yeah. So when I mean, knock on wood, my dad came here in the early 70s before the boat people. But when he was here, he helped resettle some of the refugees here in Saigon. So very lucky to have my parents who they are. Yeah, school is a very long time. Most Asian parents are like, hey, man, you got to go to college, right? And I mean, that was 7 years, 7 years for me. But I think, I'd say, college, it takes as long as, it takes. And for a lot of, I know some of the most successful people I know, like either take them a long time or sometimes they don't even finish. Right. And what I admire about you is like, you were able to recognize the skills and the gifts you had early on. And then you were able to laser focus and say, okay, hey, I can use these skills in this area, right? And that's, I think, how you've been successful in title. So tell me, for those people who like are not in the real estate game, tell them like what title is and why is it important for them to have a good person like you working with them.
So title is a great business partner for any realtors or anyone that's working in the real estate industry. Okay, but one of the biggest challenges that a lot of people don't understand what title is that we're a company that reports what will be affecting the property. So what we do is we make sure the property is free and clear from the previous owner to the new owner. So as an owner, if you want to buy a property, most buyers are first-time home buyers or with a first-time home buyer. They want to make sure the property is theirs. So how do you know that? So the title company would then do the search, which is not guaranteed. So people think, oh, it's guaranteed. No, you give your report, doesn't mean you guarantee. It stays in the fine lines. But what guarantees it is when you buy title insurance for it. So in the United States, it's very customary to buy title insurance on every transaction that you do. And Also, whenever you buy a refinance, when you refinance, you take a new loan to replace the old loan. The new lenders will say, "Hey, we also want title insurance to protect our interest to be secured to the property and the existing loan to be paid off." So that's what title insurance does. We generate a report to tell you what's kind of liens and what kind of issues on the property, and then we back it by insuring it, and your clients pay for the premium. The great thing about the premium is it's not a monthly charge or a yearly charge. It's a one-time charge, lifetime policy. So it protects you for lifetime. Doesn't matter, even more than lifetime. If you're dead, it protects the heirs of it. So your interest of the property is owned by you.
Okay. So tell us. I imagine most of the transactions you go like usually don't have liens, but tell us a couple of stories where like, hey man, good thing this guy bought title insurance, because if he didn't, he would have got screwed over, or they would have got screwed over, and they would have lost the property.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is that so for example, one of the issues I see is that a lot of people just family transfers, or they call family transfers, but really they're not family. They're just like, oh, my buddy wants to buy the house, so let me do a grantee transfer to them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the problem when you do that. You can do the grantee transfer to them, great. The guy owns the property now, but guess what? If that person wants to sell the property, he has to get title insurance. The next buyer's not gonna say, no, I'm not gonna buy unless you get title insurance. So they're gonna require title insurance. When the title company does the search, you're gonna say, hey, you acquired this property from the previous guy, but you didn't buy title insurance. So we have to use this. We have to search the title from the time with the last title insurance, and then going forward. So when they go back, they have to get documents signed from the previous owner. So if that guy wants to sell the property refi, he has to get documents signed by the previous owner. Those documents going to consist of a few things. One is going to call an uninsured deed affidavit. That's going to identify that this transfer was done and absolutely no money is owed between them, and that takes us off the liability. And number two, a statement of information, which is going to give us the social security number information about the previous owner. And what we do with that, we do a background check on them to see if there's any other mandatory liens. Mandatory liens are the judgments, tax liens, child support, things that should have been paid when they transfer the property.
Mm-hmm.
If they were not paid, guess what? That lien is stuck to the property now. So now that new owner has to go contact the guy, hey, you got to pay this. And sometimes the previous owner might be booked it to Asia or somewhere else,
mm-hmm.
can be found. And guess what? The new buyer is stuck with that. They have to assume that liens. Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think, oh, I just transfer here. I want to save money. I don't want to pay escrow. I don't want to pay title. And all done. Save $3,000 to $4,000. Great. But when they sell the property, I go through all the hassle, and that person has any liens. Guess what? You're stuck with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it happened. I've seen it many, many, many times. I probably run into it once a month, and people are like, wow. You know this, and I go, well, and then sometimes it's sad because they tell me which broker or which lawyer told them to do this, and I'm thinking in my head like, well, they shouldn't advise. They could advise that, but they shouldn't advise that because now you're stuck with this. And then guess what? Liability goes back to the lawyer. It goes back to the realtor for advice. So every transaction you do, regardless of family or not, you buy title insurance for everything.
Yeah.
So
okay. So it sounds like it protects them not on the purchase, but on their sale as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So like one you're active on social media. I see you all the time. I mean, you must have a really long arm because you take all these selfies.
I'm almost like stretching my arms out.
Yeah. Your right arm might be longer than your left arm. But you have a really, I've seen the strategy, and I want you to kind of share it with me and our listeners. It's like you go to these realtors' office because usually those are like your power partners, right? They come into you, hey, Kris, we need title. But what I like about what you do is you go to the office and say, hey, this is how you can get listings. This is how you can get more business. Tell me how you came up with the strategy, whether you came up on your own or someone taught you, and then how have you perfected that particular strategy to get more business?
So I realize is this. I put myself not a title company closing deals. A lot of people look at title people just to close your deals.
Yeah.
Closing your deals should be a given in the industry you do. The question is, how can I impact your business to grow your business, to help you, to help me? It's a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
So that's the philosophy I saw in my head. I was like thinking in my head, like, everybody could do title. I mean, all my competitors could do title. They all do what I could do. They close the deals. I probably be a better closer than they are, but they all close it too. So what makes me different? So I realized what realtors all want is more business, right? That's the key thing. Everybody wants more business. Everybody does. So if you want more business, maybe find research and find tools and resources to help the agents, either through title or maybe someone I can refer them to help them with certain things to kind of get their exposure out there. And that's why I realized is been a good plus. Ever since Facebook was invented, it really helped my business a lot because Facebook, everybody's on there. So it's one of the best platforms. Like you're using Zoom right here, and this is not live feed, is it?
No.
Okay. So if this was live feed, this is a great interview. By the way, we should have done this live feed. Just think about it. Another topic I want to talk to you about the Zoom, but we can talk afterwards. But anyways, so it's all these tools and resources is what I try to teach the agents how to utilize with me, and get them set up with certain people to kind of get their business going in the right direction. And a lot of realtors, I feel that the reason why they don't reach out to me for this or more help, 3 things. Number one, they're not ready. Number two, they're already stuck with their the way they're doing their business already. They're so comfortable. And then number three is because they feel like maybe I have nothing else to offer. But honestly, it is when they actually meet with them, like, whoa, I didn't know you know all this stuff. Like, I didn't know you could do all this stuff. Or I didn't know you know how to get me to do this stuff. So I make things a lot more convenient for agents. I make it easy going for them, and then, get them all set up. So that's a lot of things that I do. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, all right. And so, kind of going back to the business of title, you said it protects, not just on the buying, but on the selling. Are there any particular benefits of buying title as well?
Well, so there's different coverage. There's something called Alta policy and a CLTA. I also do Alta policy on all my transactions. I have 2 clients that are really needy, greedy on the price that be lower.
Okay.
So I would disclose to them that the price will be CLTA for that lower price, which is 10% cheaper. It's not recommended. Also requires a buyer and seller to sign documents to confirm the CLTA. A lot of title companies cut corners. I realize that I'm competing against other people, so I know what they're doing. And some of these companies will go, oh, we'll give you a 10% discount, which is not the right way to say it, because if you want a discount, I'll lower the coverage to give you 10% off. That's the right verbiage to do it. So a lot of companies will go ahead and lower the coverage without telling the client what they're gaining. So I will run into a client where, hey, Kris, your price is a little bit higher than another company. I get it. Insurance business, everybody can shop around, all that. And I explain to the customer, you're buying the top brand in the industry, some of the strongest brand in the industry. Don't you want to, if you're going to a title insurance company, and it's like $1,000 or $500 more savings, then I get it. But if my company's $100 more and you're getting the best brand, stay with that. It's a no-brainer for me, my opinion, because I run into a lot of situations. But a lot of these title companies, they'll try to be lower because they give you a different coverage, and they don't disclose it to the client, so the client doesn't know that. And I actually pointed out a couple of times to certain clients, I go, hey, I think they're giving CLTA, go check it out. They'll call, verify, this and that, and they're like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll go back with you. Or one time, a client's like, I remember one time, the client's like, oh no, this title company won't do that to me, da da da. And next, 6 months down the road, she's calling back, F that company, no, I want to use them again. They lied to me, da da da. You're right, Kris. I'm gonna use you from now on. Like, it was like, right. So that's the challenges on that. So the ALTA, what it does cover, it covers non-permanent structures. So if you buy a property that had a non-permanent structure and you were not disclose about it, and the city came down and give you a violation to tear it down, cost of repairs and cost whatever it is to fix it and get rid of it, the title companies will pay up to $25,000 minus deductible, which is 1% of the sale price. So if you $300, 1% minus the 25, so you get 20 grand out of if you hit past that. So the first 3,000 it won't be covered, but after that will be covered. So you make sure you get a high quote for all this stuff.
Yeah. So it sounds like title insurance is not just title insurance, right? It really depends on which company and having the right title person to help you guide through to pick the right policy.
Absolutely. Right. I would for myself, I buy properties. I fix and flips before. I would never buy myself a property. I mean, a title company that is not reputable. Online. I'll specifically tell them, I pick my title company because I work for one, or two, you got to give me and no, no option that's
Yeah.
gonna be replicable.
Yeah. Hey, awesome. Hey, Kris, this has been great speaking with you. All right, we're gonna go do some rapid fire questions to finish out this interview. All right. So, what's the best business book that you've read?
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
What's funny? One thing I need to improve on is read more. I don't read a lot of books. I do a lot of reading online. I read stuff online.
Yeah.
So Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read the whole thing. It's one of the best books out there. It's highly recommend anyone out there to understand the fundamental business models, and how to distinguish yourself. What do you want to be? Who you want to be? So you want to be an entrepreneur. You want to be a worker. What?
Yeah, that book changed my life too. Really changed how I looked at money and investments, and looking at things whether they make money for you or they're liabilities, right? Or is it liability? So yeah, totally agree. All right, so who do you look up to?
Always, my dad's always been a person I look up to because he really tried to look out for my best interest and help me.
Yeah.
A few fictional, actually not fictional people. Kobe Bryant's one of them because he always put the hard work in. He's so laser focused. I love that. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he has the 6 commandments that he goes by that I live by too. So when he talks about that, it hits me. I understand it. So things like that.
Yeah. Okay. And then if you were to do one thing over again, what would it be?
I don't know. I mean, because you become who you are from your past, right? So I think I might not be as motivated today.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's something in the past. But let's just talk about presence, right? I know as be working so much, your health deteriorates. 20s, 30s, early 30s, I was like super strong. Now I'm like 37. I'm feeling like sluggish. I changed my diet now. Like I had a salad today. Like I eat more greens now. I try to eat more healthier. Don't cut down on sugar. Anything I look at it has sugar. I try to kill back. So that's the biggest thing I should have done. So maybe to answer that question, maybe focus my health years ago. Maybe I should have started going to the gym and having a normal routine of going to the gym. To this day, it will be a normal routine today. So that's maybe why I would change. So starting Monday, I hope I'm saying this out loud. I'm going to go to the gym this Monday.
All right.
I'll start doing this.
Awesome. And then last question is, what's the biggest challenge in your business right now?
Biggest challenge, not enough time. So I have some big news coming up in March. I'll tell everybody about it. But one of the biggest things I noticed is that I don't have enough time to delegate, especially with a newborn. I try to be there for my family, also trying to be for my clients. In title business, the more clients you have, the more need it require to service. I'm glad I do have a team that I have assembled myself to partner up with, to do this together with. Do really well. Everybody does a good portion of it, but I do need more help. And years to come, I hopefully have a stronger team. And people say you don't have enough time because you don't make enough time. I tell people yes, I totally stand by that because Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about that all the time. But I sleep about 7 hours a day. I get up every day around 7. I don't go to bed to 12 to 1 every night because I'm working. I'm on my computer catching up on emails and all that stuff to late night. So I'm like overextended in a sense. I wish there's more better technology to kind of make things a lot easier, but a lot of stuff needs my knowledge or my expertise to kind of make this, to kind of drive them the right decisions, to help the client make the right decisions.
Okay, awesome. Hey, so if we want to reach out to you for some title help, where can we find you?
Best way, go to Kristopdo.com, KRISDO.com. My whole team's there. You can click it in the contacts, call them, email, and we'll take care of you right away.
All right. Hey, thanks for sharing your time here. Love your story, and looking forward to talking with you more later.
Thank you, brother. Thanks,
All right.
Thanks.